a 27-year-old with amyloid cerebral palsy. This is a complex disability but is mainly physical rather than mental. Throughout my life I have lived with this condition, which makes everyday living struggle. Stiffness is one of the most common aspects of my disability. The muscles can become very rigid and this is uncontrollable. There are various causes to my tightness. For example, if I don't get a proper night's sleep, it can make me dramatically stiff the following morning. As a result, relaxation and a clear-minded state are extremely imperative to people with disabilities. The smallest human tasks such as sleeping and eating can be challenging on a daily basis, which takes even longer than people expect. For example, in 2009 I was diagnosed with dysphagia, which is very common with people that have cerebral palsy. Dysphagia is a condition that affects my swallowing muscles, which makes eating very difficult. Medication has to be given to me just so I can eat my meal to reduce the risk of choking. So you may all be wanting to know a bit more about my life. Well, I originally grew up in Hackney and had mainstream education at Lauriston Primary School for 3 years. At the beginning of 2001, I went to Southgate Secondary School and achieved 8 GCSE and 2 A levels in media studies. Just before adulthood, I endured a very distressing experience at university, which led me to ultimately fight for the remarkable support I have today. Encompassing all of my experiences as a person with cerebral palsy, today I have come to talk to you about 4 different topics such as expression, being rebellious to stereotypes, compassion, and open-mindedness. Let's start with expression, which is a topic that is close to my heart. It is very important for a disabled person to be able to express themselves in some way or another. I am sure many of you are aware how much controversy the care industry has been in for many decades. I believe communication is extremely underrated in how care is delivered. Personal care is a typical example of this. When having a wash or being given food, many carers in the past did not acknowledge my preferences or how I wanted the tasks to be done. This caused me frustration and irritability, as well as causing me to lose respect towards my carers, as they did not adhere to my wishes. I regard myself lucky to have communication because I can prevent unpleasant situations from occurring. However, there are many people in this world or even in this country that do not have any form of communication. Being in disability-oriented environments where I see people in this situation breaks my heart. I have witnessed scenarios where individuals with similar disabilities get stiff, their carers don't understand it as involuntarily. This just proves how vital communication is, especially to vulnerable human beings. Carers, disability professionals, and even family members must develop their ability to empathize. I believe that as a society, we can too complacent by thinking we are fully understand a person's inner feelings from basic gestures and expression. We must contemplate how to deepen our communication in a way that's personal and non-intrusive. When I mention the word rebellion, some of you may be shocked. I believe rebellion and expression actually go hand in hand. As mentioned in my introduction, I experienced a horrendous hardship when I went to university. Despite the fact I communicated what support I needed, social services, NHS, and university itself did not capitulate to meet my needs. Ultimately, I had to quit my university course and depression crept in. On that note, can I just say, many people are still puzzled about the concept of depression. From my own experiences, I think the root of this condition is caused of low self-esteem. This is mostly due to unnecessary criticism that only serves to cause doubt. The consequences of my departure from university were a good example of this. Many NHS professionals and social workers failed to acknowledge what support I needed. Most of that time I was told by disability professionals that my support requirements were too high. This lowered my self-esteem and made me feel worthless. Regardless of who we are, each of us must understand our true purpose of living. This was exactly what I had to do in order to survive. For that reason, I had to figure what my purpose in life was. I discovered my life quest was to inspire the younger generation. Discovering my desire to motivate young people was how I rebelled against stereotypes and created a future for myself. In 2010, through Facebook, I found a platform to express my philosophical thoughts and life experiences. It allowed me to contemplate how children should live and value education. Although no one thought I could inspire children, it turned out to be my talent, and I have been doing it for 6 years now. As I am empathetic to youngsters, motivational speaking is my ultimate life quest. To be honest, fighting battles have been the norm since my childhood. This mentality of fighting has helped me to reach my dreams. Okay, let's move on to my next topic, which is about compassion. I believe in order for any human being to live successfully and happily, they must have loving people to support them. As well as the outstanding support from my family, I have been blessed to get help from various people since my childhood. As you can see from the screen, these two women are called Karen and Kim. It has been roughly 20 years ago since they began supporting me. They helped me while I was receiving a conductive education as a child. The Donald Winnicott Center in Hackney met my complex needs and performed activities to promote my physical well-being. This just shows the importance of receiving fantastic support as a child. Not only does it create incredible memories to reflect upon, but it gives us, as human beings, a sense of belonging. In my teenage years, Liz Gabriel, the special needs coordinator at Southgate School, also played a significant role in my life. She was in charge of recruiting learning support assistants to help me at school. Liz always gave me compassion and empathy when I felt downhearted. She also helped the teachers to understand my disability and taught them on how to provide correct support. In recent years, as you have heard earlier, my adulthood has been a serious struggle. However, the Enfield Disability Action Organization has been amazing in supporting me to fight for my rights. You can see Max on this slide, who has been an advocate for me at various meetings with disability professionals. His role is to communicate my needs and views across to people that may not understand what I need. You may ask yourself, why do I need this support when I have the ability of communication for myself? Well, you may be surprised to know before I had the support from advocacy, the meetings with social workers and NHS professionals were horrendous and, sometimes, horrifying. Therefore, Max attends meetings to ensure disability professionals do not interrupt when I am speaking. Unfortunately, my experiences have shown me that people with needs require advocates just to have their views communicated without interruption or hindrance. After quitting university, I had to go out of my way and find a care agency that could work for me. At that point, I found Edenville Care Ltd, and they have been successfully providing me with support for 6 years now. As you can imagine, due to being misunderstood by various disability professionals, I was very frustrated and depressed when Edenville started its support. On the right-hand side, you can now see Edenville's manager, Valerie Bennett, who is one of the most compassionate and open-minded people I have ever met. From scrutinizing my views expressed to disability professionals in email communication, she understood that I was very intelligent and articulate. Her organization has always been determined to find the support that I have needed for a fulfilling life. In this photograph, you can also see Annetta Carnes, who has been my care coordinator for half a decade. Working together, we have adopted a unique approach to recruit young people who can provide my independence. This has helped me to achieve various accomplishments, such as being interviewed on television, lecturing at South Bank University, interviewing various celebrities, and many more. Last but not least, I would like to finish my talk by discussing open-mindedness. Giving motivational talks to schools has broadened my horizons about life. Not only have I gained a bigger insight into how young people cope in today's society, but it has taught me how people perceive disability. As expressed to my local MP David Burrows, even though my motivational talks have been beneficial to children's lives, many people have still been reluctant to create opportunities for it to happen. After meeting him at his office, he suggested for me to write this presentation for raising disability awareness. One of the common reasons for my struggle in finding opportunities is because many people are quite stereotypical about disability in general. A good example of this is back in 2012, one head teacher suggested that the children need some kind of training before I give my motivational talks to them. This was very alarming and saddening to me. It shows that we as a community need to come together and teach each other about all disabilities. Many teachers assumingly also think that it is impossible for someone like me to come and teach able-bodied youngsters about having self-esteem and determination. This is one of the reasons why I always stay motivated to give these talks for changing people's perceptions. However, just like anything in life, when pleasant people come into our lives, good consequences come our way. For about 7 years now, I have been a regular club goer as hip-hop and R&B music is my passion in life. I was approached by a beautiful woman called Becky Hubbard, as you can see her on the screen. As well as liking the same music as me, she also turned out to be a primary school teacher. As a consequence, I had the opportunity to give a presentation at her school to around 350 children. This just proves that having good people around helps us to be motivated and positive in life. Before I leave, please allow me to give all of you a few important key points about disability awareness. Understanding each other is the key to maintaining a disabled person's well-being. Many of us as disabled people are enduring limited quality of lives under bureaucratic systems, engulfed by politics and money. Judging from my own experience, I must emphasize the importance of disability professionals, like the social workers and NHS, coming together to help disabled people individually. In actual fact, I think it is all of our responsibility as a society to come together and try to understand issues surrounding disability and mental health conditions. We must admit that it takes plenty of necessities for people with disabilities to be successful and happy. From human values such as love, compassion, mind of determination, as well as having education, are just some of the things we need to thrive in life. Throughout my life, there are many people that say I am lucky to have my success and happiness. Nevertheless, the truth is, every single disabled person is entitled to these things. It is their human right, especially in a modern country like ours. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to now ask me any questions you have about my life and disability-related issues.